Bismillah. Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulihil kareem. We were discussing this hadith yesterday. Uh, Interesting hadith, very interesting hadith, where Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam was bewitched. In English, it sounds a bit hectic, bewitched. But in Arabic, we say suhira was mashoor, or in Urdu, we say jadu was made on him. Just briefly, before we continue. So, according to us, the Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah, jadu is a reality. There is sufficient proof from the Quran, there's sufficient proof from the hadith. In fact, if you look at the Shan and Uzul, it means the reasons why the verses Kul a'udhu bi rabbin nas, Kul a'udhu bi rabbil falaq was revealed. They were revealed. Why? Because as a cure of Nabi Sallallahu as we're going to do in the lesson, I told you get certain type of groups like who the the Qadianis, the Mu'tazilas, they deny the reality of sihr. So okay, I told you this is also one of the ways you can recognize who the Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah. This is also one of the ways you recognize who the Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah, and that is that if you must see if they accept the reality of Jadu. Like I told you, you want to see that you meet a Muslim, you want to see if this is he's on the same wavelength like you, if he accepts the Sunnah, if he accepts the Hadith, check if he accepts the reality of Jadu. If he accepts the reality of Jadu, then you know he is on the same belief system as you, right? So the hadith briefly again that Nabi Sallallahu was not feeling well. He made dua to Allah Ta'ala. Allah Ta'ala sent two angels to explain to him what was happening and advise him how to come out. What was the makhraj? How to cure himself from this, right? And then he was told he must go to a certain well. There was a jealous Jew that had bewitched him, right? So he went to the well. The last thing we discussed yesterday, he went to the well called Bi'are Bi'are Zarwan, or some revice say Bi'are Abi Zuraiq, right? So, so the main thing is you must accept the reality of Jadu. Yes, we agree with you. People overplay it. Anything go wrong, the moment the husband and wife start fighting, oh, it's Jadu, somebody made Jadu on me, somebody made Jadu on my husband, business is not going right, but in the meantime, the man is not running the business right, he's spending more than he's earning, whatever. They say, no, Jadu, Jadu, Jadu. That is obviously also not acceptable that you want to blame everything on Jadu, right? But it is a reality. So we've covered most of the hadith, and right now I gave you a brief synopsis of the hadith. Just the last part we need to do. So, nuqa'atul hinna'i. See that word there, the last thing. So Nabi Sallallahu was informed by Allah Ta'ala that you must go to a particular well. Show him where is it. In that well, you will find the jadu. Nuqa'atul hinna'i, right? So nuqa'a normally means something which is saturated. وَكَأَنَّ مَاءَهَا نُقَاءَةُ الْحِنَّاءِ. So it means as though the water of the well was saturated, it was diluted with henna. So it was red. So the water was blood red. So I'm not sure here now whether the water was red as a result of the jadu in it, or it was just naturally red. Sometimes you know the color of the dam is a result of the soil. Sometimes you get red clay in it. Because maybe I'm not sure. I tried to see there is nothing, but I suppose maybe it was blood red because of the jadu, whatever could be, right. So it was like a water mixed with right with mainly. So then the hadith also says that I told you. Remember we discussed. Yeah, we said that you get the cow. Just go back one year. وجف طلعة ذكر وجف طلعة ذكر, the cover of the plant of the male. So I told you the date. There's an interesting fact I want to tell you here also. They say that, I told you certain plants has male and female. Certain plants has a male and a female. I saw this somewhere. We done it in Mishkaat, Shareef. We know Allah Ta'ala created insan from soil, from clay, isn't it? So the date palm was created from the leftover clay, which Adam alayhi salam was created from. That is why, like how amongst the human species you have male and female, like that also you get male and female from amongst the date trees, right? So look at that word there. I told you just taking a bit back there. Shuf fi tal'ati zakarin. the cover of the flower of the male part of the tree, right? So this was the thing where the jadoo was in. Are you with me? Or whether the right? Are you with me? So this was used. So normally, inshallah, we'll go through the hadith also uh, further. But normally, one method of making jadoo, one is uses amal. You get like you use something and you use it as a form, and then you put some traces of the person you want to afflict on that thing. Then you make the jadi on that. I know you ever saw the voodoo doll. You ever heard about the voodoo doll? I will tell you something about that later on. Right. So anyway, so it was made in this thing here. This was so apparently that was not like Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, right? Then it says, then the hadith says there also, it goes on further and says it, كأنه رؤوس, right? وكان نخلها رؤوس الشياطين. And this date part of the date palm as though it was the head of shaitan. So what you know in here is interesting. They say in Arabic, anytime you want to mention something negative, then you say, hey, this is from shaitan or this is shaitan. We don't literally mean from shaitan, but anything negative, right? So in other words, this was ugly looking as though it was from shaitan, right? So the jadoo was made upon this part of the date and was thrown in the well. Are you with me? Right. So the next part here is not part of the kitab, it's not in the hadith, but this also is understood from other hadith and from history books. There's a riwayat of Hazrat Abbas. Sorry, there's a riwayat of Hazrat Ibn Abbas radiallahu ta'ala. He says, when Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam was informed that jadoo has been made upon him and this has been put in a well, he sent Hazrat Ali, he sent Hazrat Ammar ibn Yasir, he sent them towards this well. And they went there and they took this, I told you this, this male part of the date palm, and it was made or fashioned like into like a doll type of a thing. Like I was telling you, voodoo doll. I don't know if you people remember, maybe you're still too young, a couple of years ago, many years ago, the old people my age will remember there was a big earthquake in Haiti. You know, it's Haiti, it's an island of America. Now, they say in Haiti, this Jado and Sicher is a very big thing. They specialize in the art of the voodoo doll. You know, the voodoo dolls. They say there's big thing there. So I remember when this place was whacked with a big earthquake, maybe the 2000s or something. So people started speaking about it and saying, "Ah, this is a punishment because they're all involved in this voodoo and all that type of thing." So I remember they said the people that spread the science about the voodoo dolls. You know that they take needles and they push it through the voodoo doll. So when they harm the doll, then apparently that is supposed to harm the person who the doll is representing, right? So I told you, so how do they create a link between the doll and the person they want to afflict? I told you, they take your hair, they take your perspiration, they take your nails, etc. That is why even today when you go to an Amil, what the Amil asks you, he wants a used vest. Why? Because he wants your perspiration. So that's how they use your body parts to create a link. That is why we told you, you must be very careful about your hair. Don't you cut your hair. The ladies, maybe they go with cutting hair is a different permissible, is a separate story. Or when you go to your trim your hair, you go to the hairdresser. You don't normally when I go to the barber, I tell the guy before the time, look here, please clean here. When I go, I want all my hair. Then I give him something extra. So when the moment I come there, he sweeps the whole place up for me. And when he's finished, at first he sweeps so the other people's hair is gone. Then when I finish cutting my, I say, give me my hair. He gives me my hair. I give him extra $50, right? He must do that. He knows already. When I come in, I want the place clean. And he must gather my hair and give it to me. Same thing here, right? That when people, I'm not saying people want to make jadoo on me, but I'm just saying that your hair, your nails, one is besides the people can make jadoo on, but remember, وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ, we have honored Bani Adam, right? So your body parts are also honored. So you don't just your hair, you don't just throw it in a bin, or you don't just dispose of like throw the garbage, etc., etc. You dispose of it respectfully, your nails, your hair, etc. So then we keep that and we bury it. So the way they establish the link with you is they establish this link through your body parts, etc. Right? So here it's mentioned that they actually made you can say like obviously a crude type of a replica of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Mujassama means something that had a form, and in it was 11 knots. Then Jibreel Amin came and he revealed to Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam these two surahs, Kul A'udhu bi Rabbil Falaq and Kul A'udhu bi Rabbin Nas, and jointly they have what? 11 verses. So with the recitation of each verse, one not open up on Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right? And it's mentioned here, so in the Shara, like imagine you are tied up with something tight, tight, tight. Say even you got 11 straps on you. You got 11 straps on your body. Each time one strap is opened up, you feel a sense of relief. So same thing, every time one verse was revealed, one strap or one knot was opened up, right? Was opened up, right? And he got relief with the recitation of each verse. So yes, in this according to this riwayat of Ibn Abbas, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam went here himself, although he never go into the well himself, right? He never the Sahaba Ikram went. And the interesting thing here also is that Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam never take any action against this person, right? That may be the akhlaq of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And also another thing came to my mind is like how do you in Islam everything goes with proof. Al bayinatu al mudda'i wal yaminu ala man an jadu is something how are you going to prove somebody done it? So like it's not that's why also like in a Muslim country in it, how are you going to take action against a person who's involved in jadu, right? So I told you we try to find a link of every hadith with the chapter. The link here is that Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam was informed via the angels about the person who had made jadoo upon him. Then he went and he found the jadoo, or he found the sihr, and then the recitation of the verses and its effectiveness in undoing the effects of the jadoo. So the take home of this again, I just repeat again. So jadoo is a reality. It's proven from even that verse of Harut and Marut. I done it to the boys before, right? That's the first thing. Yes, the second thing, I agree. It is overplayed at times. So now, while you get one extreme, people want to deny it outright. They say there's no such thing, like I told you. And then the other extreme is every small thing that happened. Oh, you must go read on you. You got maybe you got jadoo, you got sihr. There's the other extreme, right? And then the other take home from this is the effectiveness of these surahs. You should, that's why it comes also, it's from the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that every night you recite these surahs and then you blow in your hands. And ulama explain whenever we speak about blow, you must actually blow, a little spit must come. You don't have to like a lot of spit, but even the verse, even that the incident comes in the hadith when you see a scary dream, then you must breathe, you blow and you spit on your left side. They also like little spit must come out. So little spit will come in your hand and you rub from the top to the bottom of your body. The sunnah. Inshallah, this is a very effective way to protect you. Right. So you see a lot of times people will come to you. Even if us, a lot of times people come that I'm seeing this, I'm hearing this. Then for your first point of departure is start with this. Start with what? When somebody comes to you, I got jadoo, I got this, I got that. Then you tell him, recite the mu'awwalatain abundantly, recite the manzil. The manzil are several verses from the Quran. And in fact, these are actually proven from the hadith. I never know that. I only came across it recently. That these verses, it comes in the manzil, they actually come from a riwayat in Mustadrak ya Hakim. It comes in a riwayat of Mustadrak ya Hakim. So I promise you, people, when you finish here, a lot of people will come to you. This is happening. So you tell them, recite the manzil abundantly. And then also added to that, when you recite it, blow in the water. And then that same water, you use a sprinkle bottle, you sprinkle it throughout the house, the corners, etc. Right? And you use the same water to cook. You can use the same water to make your tea. You use the same water to make your juice, whatever, whatever. Inshallah, most of the times. And also, in addition to that, you tell the people, give azan in the corners, and try to remove pictures of all animate objects from the house. Most of the time, this is good enough. It will help them. If it if this doesn't help, then you need further intervention. Then you have to go to Amil, inshallah. If you want to take up the field of Amil, very good, mashallah. The khidmat of the makhluk. Look, man, you got a good Amil there. You connect. Hafiz Rashad is very good. No doubt about it. You got a good report. And he's also tired most of the time. So maybe you like you can train you up, inshallah. But but most of the time this will help you. I promise you, most of the time when you tell the people about this three, four things, it will help, inshallah. Manzil, water, drink, blow in the house, recite the mu'awwazatain, get rid of all animate objects from the house, etc. All right. Anyway, reason is hadith, inshallah.
عن أبي سعيد الخدري رضي الله عنه قال بينما نحن من رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وهو يحسن قصرا أتاه ذو القويسرة وهو رجل من بني تميم قال يا رسول الله اعدل قال ويلك فمن يعدل إذا لم أعدل ولا ابدأ وخسرت إن لم أكن أعدل يحقركم صلاته مع صلاته وصيامه مع صيامه.
Okay, stop there. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. This is another miracle of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, how he accurately predicted the emergence of one of the Indian groups. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وأنا أبي سعيد الخدري narrated an authority of أبي سعيد الخدري قال بينما نحن عند رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم, whilst we were with Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وسلم, right, وهو يقسم تسواويس حالي يعني وهو يقسم قسما, whilst he was dividing قسما here a division, but what means here he was dividing the booty, right. أتاه ذو الخويسرة, person by the name of ذو الخويسرة, he came to Rasulullah or رجل من بني تميم. He was a person from the tribe of Tamim, right? فقال يا رسول الله اعدل. Subhanallah. So he was not happy with how Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam was dividing the, what you call it, the booty. So he said, اعدل يا رسول الله, be just, be fair, be equitable in your distribution. فقال ويلك, Rasulullah, wait to you. فما يعدل إذا لم أعدل, then who can be just if I'm not just? In other words, I brought the deen to you, right? I brought fairness, etc. to you. And today you telling me to be just. If I'm not just, then who's going to be just when I'm supposed to be the teacher of justice, right? قد خبئت وخسرت إن لم أكن أعدل. Then verily you I will be at a loss and you will be destroyed if I'm not just. So as Umar radiallahu anhu, when he saw this disrespect to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, imagine somebody telling Rasulullah يعدل, فقال عمر إذن لي أن أضرب عنقه. Ya Rasulullah, forbid for me that I أضرب عنقه, I smite his neck, I take his neck off. Carry on.
قال دعوا فإن له أبا يحضر أحسن صلاته مع صلاته
Right, carry on.
الفقهاء يجاوز التقام يملكون من الدين كما يملك الشخص ينظر إلى نفسه كمن إلى نبيه هو صدقه إلى قدره لا يوجد فيه شيء قد سبق الفرق.
Okay, so Nabi Sassam, yeah, this is the miracle part of it, right? So Rasulullah said, Da'hu, leave him. فَإِنَّ لَهُ أَصْحَابًا, that he's going to have, when his time comes, he's going to have some followers. يَحْقِرُ أَحَدُكُمْ صَلَاتَهُ مَعَ صَلَاتِهِ. Listen nicely here. This is a bit complicated. I told you, इसमें थोड़ी सी पेचीदगी है. A bit of a complicated ibarat, right? That any one of you, أحدكم, you can say also every one of you or any one of you, he will consider insignificant his salat compared to their salat and their fasting. What he's fasting. What does that mean? Before I explain, what do you think it means to Quran? Ismail, what do you think that part means there? What do you think that part means there? Just read it again. فإن له أصحابا يحقر أحدكم صلاته مع صلاتهم وصيامه مع صيامهم. What does it mean? Loud. Okay, what you're saying is right. Their fasting will be more than your fasting. Okay, what they're saying there is, look here, don't kill him now because he's going to have followers. And the followers are going to be such that when you compare your salat to his salat, and when you compare your fasting, you're going to consider yours insignificant. So they're going to outwardly show a great love and affinity for salat, and they're going to show a great love for fasting, but actually it's going to be hollow. So they are a sect that Allah Ta'ala has decreed they're going to emerge, and when the time is right, they will emerge. So they will seem to be very great worshippers. They will seem, but they will have the wrong aqidah. Are you with me? So look here again, see now. Look at it again. فَإِنَّ لَهُ أَصْحَابًا أَصْحَابًا because the ism of inna. Verily for him, this Duwail Khawaisra is going to have people, companions that will emerge at a later stage, right? يَحْكِرُ أَحَدُكُمْ صَلَاتَهُ. Any one of you, yes, refer to the Sahaba Ikram, right? You, my companions, يَحْكِرُ, you will consider insignificant salatahu. Any one of you will consider, and this refer to who? His salat. You will consider your salat ma'a salatim in front of this person's salat. So if you compare your salat to his salat, your salat will seem like nothing, right? And wasiyamahu ma'a siyamihi, and you consider insignificant your fasting in front of his fasting. That is, they will fast so much, etc. Right? So outwardly they will. This piece of Nabi was saying people will come. So this is not the reason why you mustn't kill him. The reason why you mustn't kill him is still coming. This is just a secret of him. They don't kill him because he's gonna come and they're gonna be people who seem, as great worshippers. Carry on, right? You got tarakiyahum or tarakihim, what you got there? Yeah, that makes sense, right? Because why it is Yaim and Kusa, and Yaim and Kusa, the Ya comes, the Fatha comes back, right? So this so first sifat you got to them, right? They outwardly they're gonna seem to be great, great worshippers, right? يقرؤون القرآن, these people they will read the Quran, لا يجاوز تراقيهم, but it will not go beyond the collarbone. What does it mean? It does not go beyond the collarbone. If anybody from the online people want to answer, give some input, inshallah, they can give inputs also. What does it mean not go beyond the collarbone, Luqman? That they will read a lot of Quran, so they will read a lot of Salah, they will fast a lot, and they will read a lot, but will not go beyond the collarbone. It, correct. It will just be a mere superficial reading, just reading, but it will not impact on their heart. So from that you understand also that the recitation of the Quran is supposed to impact upon your heart, right? So whether you understand or from many, a lot of people they argue that you ulama, you emphasize you must read the Quran, you must read the Quran. But what's the use of reading the Quran without understanding? Yes, we agree with you that learn the Quran, learn to understand the Quran. Nowadays, it's so easy. You even if you're at advanced age, there's so much online opportunities to learn, etc. That's in its place. We agree with you that to learn to learn the meaning of the Quran, the tafsir of the Quran is very, very good. But that does not mean reading the Quran without understanding is devoid of barakah. You understand what I'm saying? Look, man, remember this. Yes, we agree with you that to learn the Quran is better than not knowing the Quran. But at the same time, we want to just change the page there. But at the same time, we want to emphasize that reading the Quran without understanding is still beneficial. That is why Imam Malik, rahimahullah ta'ala, is seen in a dream. That Allah ta'ala, and he asked Allah ta'ala, Ya Allah, what is the best action to draw close to you? Well, he said, recitation of the Quran. He asked Allah ta'ala in a dream. Then Imam Malik asked Allah ta'ala, understanding or without understanding? He said, both with and without, both of them, they are very effective in drawing close to Allah Ta'ala and drawing the mercy of Allah Ta'ala. So we understand from this here that the Quran, whether you recite it with understanding or without understanding, it still will have a great positive effect on you. It will still have a great positive effect on you, right? There are many texts to what you call it, but we'll discuss it another time. But now these people here, if you look at the previous thing, they will fast a great deal, they will pray a great deal, they will recite a lot of Quran, but it will have no positive effect on them. Not their recitation, right? Carry on.
يمرقون من الدين كما يمرق السهم من الرمية ينظر إلى نفسه وشافه.
Right. يمرقون من الدين كما يمرق السهم من الرمية. So they will, maraka yamruku, they will exit from the deen like how a arrow exits from his prey. Okay, before we look at it, I'll explain to you. They're saying, yeah, like, uh, normally when you shoot the arrow right, the arrow will get stuck in the prey, or it will come out soiled in blood if it's very sharp, if it's a good shot. But when the arrow goes right through the animal, and it doesn't even it come out unscathed, unscratched. So same thing, these people outwardly they will show this great signs of ibadah, etc. But they are actually out of the deen, like how the arrow goes right through the animal without showing any signs of blood on it or any signs of it's going to the stomach, any signs of dung. So like how it goes clean out. Like how even when in hunting you tell the guy say, hey, what's a clean shot? So they will come clean out, they will have no effect. This ibadat, this Quran, the Siyam will have absolutely no effect upon them, right? So that you say, Yamrukuna, they will exit from the deen like how the arrow exits from the prey, right? So you must look at the next few words, it's a bit difficult. I'll explain to you to read it next one.
ينظر إلى نفسه وإلى وشافه نبيه.
Yeah. So you say, I'm sure every one of you seen an arrow before, right? The arrow has a shaft like this here. See, this is the arrow, right? Then, which is obviously wood, or in previous time it would have been wood or bamboo. Then on top of the arrow, you've got the arrowhead, which is a metal, which is supposed to. So that thing has got like the shaft fits into the arrowhead, and then it's tied with a rope to keep the arrow, or maybe glued or whatever, or maybe, and then it's got at the end, it's got some feathers to balance it. That's why you see the planes in it white has a tail at the back that's to create the balance. So they're saying here, Yunzaru ila nasrihi. It will be looked at the arrowhead. Ila rusafihi. It will be looked at the string that ties the arrowhead onto the shaft, right? Onto the shaft, right? ينظر إلى ينظر إلى ينظر إلى نصره ينظر إلى رصافه إلى نضيه, and it will be looked at the shaft. وقدحه إلى قذره, it is the shaft. إلى قذره means to the feathers at the bottom. So in other words, he's saying whether you look at the front of the arrow, whether you look at the rope that attaches the head of the arrow to the shaft, whether you look at the feathers at the back to balance it, there will be no signs that this even went through, it was shot through an animal. In other words, it has no sight. The same thing. These people, they will come out, they've been read so much Quran, so much, but they're out of deen, no signs of deen. In other words, they're fasting, nothing would have any effect on him. So you understood the tashbih that the Rasul is giving, is comparing how the arrow comes out clean on the other side without any signs of it being pierced. The animal, same thing. These people will have no signs of deen in reality, despite the great acts of outer worship, right? So, see there, فلا يوجد فيه شيء. There will be not be right. It will not be found in them anything, right? قد سبق الفرس والدم, and it had passed through fars والدم, through the dung and the blood, nothing. Right, carry on.
وقفه إلى قذره فلا يوجد
So you got آياتهم رجل أسود,
رجل لا
right? So then Nabi Salsam is explaining more. You got آياتهم then, eh? This time the leader, رجل will be a person, أسود, dark in color. إحدى أرضيه مثل ثدي المرأة, is one side. Here Nabi is explaining that the side of his body, there will be like a loose, like sometimes you see, I don't know if you saw sometimes some people Allah protect when they are born, like even on their face, they have like a lump of flesh there, like there's a lump of flesh abnormality. So this person will have like a lump on his side, and like how a lady have a breast, which is a lump of flesh hanging from her body, right? So same thing here, he will have like a lump of flesh on his side. So ayatum rajul aswad. Ihda adudayhi. So ihda is one of his sides. Mithlu. You what mithlu, ne? Or mithla. Mithlu. Sad'il mar'ati will be like the breast of a woman, right? Oh, mithlu bub'ati. Bub'a refers to a lump of flesh. Yeah, remember that also bub'a. comes in the Quran, where it comes, min mudghati, min bud'a, etc. Like the piece of a flesh, right? Carry on. Yeah, this is now your, what is this? This is a rubai mujarrad, ne? How many letters there? Dar, dara, you dar, diru, ta, dar, dar. Like zalzala, you zalzilu. Four original letters, right? Da, dar, daru. So if he moves, this will shake because it's loose flesh. If a woman runs, what happens? It loose flesh here on the chest, shakes like that. So same thing, this will shake like that, right? Da, dar, daru. It will shake, right? Subhanallah. Look at the miracle. I'll explain this. For the timing, just take it like this. وَيَخْرُجُونَ عَلَى خَيْرِ فِرْقَةٍ. They will exit from the better group, minan nasi. Here, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is making reference to the difference between who, Hazrat Ali radiallahu ta'ala, lucky we've discussed this in detail in our Asilu Samawiyah. See how it ties in, see how it ties in. When there's a difference between Hazrat Ali and Hazrat Muawiyah radiallahu ta'ala. Remember, I told you, they will make sulah, remember? Hazrat Muawiyah is demanding that, look here, you must bring to book the killers of my cousin Usman because he was unjustly killed. And as Ali saying, we will do it at a later stage. Remember, we done this in detail. So then they said, they came to Musalah, they said, look here, let's stop all hostilities for 6 months. That for 6 months, as Muawiyah won't demand that the killers must be brought to book. And for 6 months, Ali won't demand Muawiyah must give back. We just want a cessation of hostilities for 3 months. Then this group here, they objected and they said, no, no. How can you make sulah? They said, we have to implement the Quran, right? We have to implement the Quran. And then they were outwardly staunch followers of Ali, the same group. So follow nicely now. So this same group here, who is this group? This is the group that will come from the progeny of Dhul Khuwaisara, the one who objected to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Right? Follow? So from his progeny or from his followers, that will come this group here, that what? They will be so excessive in their ibadat, but they will not have true iman, right? And then I told you that they are the ones that will. They were initially they were siding with Hazrat Ali. Follow nicely. They sided with Hazrat Ali against Hazrat Muawiyah in the Mushajarat Sahaba. I explained to you. Alhamdulillah, we done this in detail. We done it in our Asilu Samawiyah. But when Hazrat Ali made the decision of, I told you, cessation of hostilities for 6 months, they objected. They said, no, you don't have the right to make sulah. You're supposed to implement the law of Allah Ta'ala. You're supposed to amend the Quran and you have to fight these people until they give ba'at, until Muawiyah give mate. So they objected. That's why they were called the Khawarij, right? I'll tell you a bit more about them just now. So they say, يَنْخُرُجُونَ عَلَى خَيْرِ فِرْقَةٍ مِنَ النَّاسِ. They will come out against, ya alamis, against the better group of the believers, right? So carry on reading from there. I just maybe we won't have to see today. I see there's just little time left. So we just try to finish this hadith. We'll continue the tafsir tomorrow, inshallah, right?
قال أبو سعيد أشهد أني سمعت هذا الحديث من رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أشهد أن
Right. So this قال أبو سعيد, as Abu Sa'id says, أشهد أني سمعت هذا الحديث من رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. I bear witness that I heard Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam saying that, look here, that this Zul Khuwaisara, a group will emerge from his followers or from his progeny. I heard him. I heard this hadith. And then in the next verse, he says, I promise you I heard myself. أني سمعت هذا الحديث من رسول الله. And then he's saying, وأشهد أني علي بن أبي طالب قاتلهم. And I promise you, I'm also witnessing that I saw as Ali fighting these people. So what is he trying to say? I witnessed the prediction that Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam gave, in his lifetime, that such a group will emerge and they will fight against the one that's on the haq. See, that's also one of the reasons why we say, I told you, I wanted to mention after, but since I mentioned now, remember we told you in the difference between Hazrat Muawiyah and Hazrat Ali, we say Hazrat Muawiyah was on haq, remember? And Hazrat Ali was on haq, and Hazrat Muawiyah was made an error in judgment. This is one of the reasons. One of the reasons, also many reasons, but was one of the reasons. Nabi Sallallahu said they will clash with the people who's better. So who did they clash with? They clashed with Hazrat Ali. So it means Hazrat Ali is better, means he was on the haq in this particular. So this is one of the qarinas, the qarai that shows that in the battle of Siffin, Hazrat Ali was upon haq. The difference between Hazrat Ali and Muawiyah, or the Muawiyah was Hazrat Ali was on haq, right? Nevertheless, So this Sahabi saying, look here, I saw the prediction. And with the grace of Allah Ta'ala, I saw the manifestation of the prediction also. I was there, right? وأشهد أن علي بن أبي طالب وأشهد أن علي بن أبي طالب قاتلهم for them وأنا معه and I was with him, right? So carry on, right? So he's saying when Hazrat Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu fought them, for Amara, he said, look here, Nabi Sallallahu predicted that this is going to happen. So he gave instruction, bring this man to me. For Amara, bizalika radiallahu to me, so he was sought, for utiya bihi, and he was brought to Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, right? And then, حتى نظرت إليه على نعت النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. He said, until I looked at him and I saw him upon the description of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, الذي نعته, the one which he described him. Look there, guys, here. Can just go back there, see here. قال وآية رجل أسود إحدى أدوديه. Remember, Nabi Sallam said, look here, from Dhul Khuwaisara, there will come a group that will be excessive in the ibadat, etc., etc. I told you, and they will have a leader who have this flesh, this lump of flesh on his right side, right? So as Ali had so much yaqeen in the words of Rasulullah that when this incident transpires, now where is the leader of this person? And when this leader was brought into the presence of Ali, so he's this Rawi Abu Sa'id al-Khudri saying, Wallahi, I saw exactly the description of Rasulullah. We found the leader of this Khawarij, this dark in colored person, short person, and he had this lump of flesh on his one side that would bounce around when he would run. Daru, right? So that is the miracle that our Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam accurately predicted that from Zul Khuwaisara, either his progeny or from his followers, that will come a person that will rebel against Hazrat Ali. And there's a lot of details of this. The Battle of Nahrawan, there's a one, yeah, where Hazrat Ali fought. I told you this. I told you before. This book of Salabi. I think he's a Lebanese author, and it's been translated into English. He's got a book on Abu Bakr, Al Umar, Al Uthman, and Al Ali. And these books are very, very highly rated amongst the ulama. All the ulama speak about it. Alhamdulillah, I read as Abu Bakr, as Umar, I read as Uthman, and I read as Ali. So there, if you go, you want details of the Battle of Nahrawan. And what was the other battle where for the Khawarij? We done it, Rahman, in Asidu Samawiya. There's another battle. Remember, we told you all the killers of Uthman was killed in Nahrawan, etc. The last of them. But the two battles, these people were killed, etc. So here probably is making reference to this battle of Nahrawan, right? So he's saying, I saw him exactly. So this is the punchline, that the miracle of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that he predicted exactly that people are going to rebel against Hazrat Ali, and this is how the leader will be, etc. So here, this Sahabi said, حتى نظرت إليه على نعت النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم الذي نعته, right? Exactly نعته, how he described him. وفي رواية نعم أقبل رجل غائر العينين نأتي الجبهة كث اللحية مشرف الوجنتين محلوق الرأس فقال يا محمد. So this is another riwayat which speaks about the same thing. In other words, the same incident where this person objected to the qismat of Rasulullah, that once a person came, رجل غائر العينين, sunken eyes. Nati, atayati means protruding, ne? Sorry, no, sorry. Uh, Nati. Nati means uh, to raise something is raised. That's why I say you refer to the angle as al azmun nati, ne? Natil jabati, right? So a protruding forehead. Kastul lihyati, thick beard. Mushriful wajnataini. Mushriful, high cheekbones, right? Mahluqur Rasi, and he had a shaven head. So it's the same person. This Dhul Khuwaisaratain. فقال يا محمد, he said, oh Muhammad, اتق الله, fear Allah Ta'ala. فقال, the Nabi Sallam said, فَمَا يُطِئِ اللَّهِ إِذَا عَصَيْتُ. Are you telling me to fear Allah Ta'ala? Are you telling me to exercise justice? So if I don't, I'm the one who Allah Ta'ala sent to teach you justice. If I don't exercise on justice, then who will? إِذَا عَصَيْتُ, right? فَيَأْمَنُنِي اللَّهُ عَلَى أَهْلِ الْأَرْضِ, right? So if I say to, so who will here Allah, هو الأبيات, if I um, disobey him, فَيَعْمَنُنِي اللَّهُ, whereas Allah Ta'ala, He He gave me safety upon the people of the earth. وَلَا تَأْمَنُونِي, right? And you people do not give me safety. فَسَأَلَ رَجُلٌ قَتْلَهُ, same thing when Sahaba Ikram saw that this person is disrespecting Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in such a way, right? They said, Ya Rasulullah, just kill him. فَلَمَّا وَلَّى, so when this person turned away, he went, قال إن من ضئضئ هذا, verily from the progeny of this person, right? قوم will be such a people يقرؤون القرآن, they will recite the Quran, ولا يجاوز حناجرهم, he will not it will not go beyond the collarbone, يمرقون من الإسلام, they will exit from Islam, مروق السهم, like the exiting of a arrow, من الرمية, from the prey, فيقتلون أهل الإسلام, they will kill the people of Islam, ويدعون أهل الأوثان, and they will, right, so فيقتلون أهل الإسلام, they will kill the people of Islam, ويدعون أهل الأوثان, and they will leave the people of the idols. لئن أدركتهم, if I am alive when they make their emergence, لأقتلنهم قتل عاد, I will kill them like the killing of Ad. متفق عليه, and this is a muttafaq alayhi riwayat. So you see these people here, they are so excessive in the ibadat, and they are quick, and they fight against the Muslims. And what they do? They fight against the Muslims, and they leave the mushriks, right? Now, when this ISIS made the emergence, a lot of people call him Khawarij. You know that the people call him Khawarij. Man, why do people call him Khawarij? Look, whether they're Khawarij or not, Allah Ta'ala knows best. But look here, there's many similarities between these people, these Khawarij. These are the people who rebelled against Ali, right? What are the similarities? The similarities, look here, they place a great deal of emphasis on ibadat. And if you do not do ibadat like them, they expel you from the region of Islam. That even, look, we know, according to us, the Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah, that Iman, kufr is related to Iman. When there's a problem with your Iman, then we say you out of the fold of Islam. No matter what sin you commit, you don't come out of the fold of Islam. You commit zina, you drink alcohol, whatever you do, that does not expel you, does not expand you from Islam. Am I right or wrong? Yes, when you got the wrong aqidah, you believe wrong things, you believe in multiple gods, deities, etc. Now you come out of the fold of Islam. Am I right or wrong? Right? So these Khawarij, they would expel people from Islam on based on a'mal, right? Now if you look at the ISIS people, they were either intentional or they were pure stupid. They would expel people from Islam based on actions, not on the belief, right? And then that's one similarity. So they were very, you can say, mutashaddid, very extreme. And then another thing here, yaqtulun ahl al-Islam. Who did ISIS mainly fight with? Who did they fight with? The Muslims. Did they fight the Yahud that was there? Did they attack Israel? Did they attack America? No, never. Right? There's not even one incident where. So see they, فَيَقْتُلُونَ أَهْلَ الْإِسْلَامِ, they will fight the people of Islam. وَيَدْعُونَ أَهْلَ الْأَوْثَانِ, and they will leave the people of the idols. So because of these glaring similarities of ISIS, people would often call them Khawarij. Now the original Khawarij, what happened to them? They were killed at Naharawan, etc. Now today, if you go to Oman, normally we speak about Sunni Islam and we speak about Shia Islam, but there's a third group which does not align themselves with the Sunnis, and neither do they align themselves with the Shias. They're totally different. They are the Ibadis. They are what they call the Ibadis. Now, interesting thing is, alhamdulillah, we had the good fortune. We visited this country, very beautiful, neat country. But most of the people, they are ibadis. Now, the original ibadis, right? They say they come from the Khawarij. And remember the Khawarij, after being staunch followers of Ali, they rejected him. I told you why they rejected him. Because they said that you got no right to make sulah. I explained you this. So, but today, so historically, it is recorded that these ibadis, they come from the Khawarij, same people that Nabi Sallam spoke about. There's a link I'm giving you now. That Nabi Sallam said that from Dhul Khuwaisara will come these people, the Khawarij. So it is unanimous that these ibadis that live in Oman and certainly in the mountains of Lebanon, they are come from the Khawarij. But if you ask them, they will never tell you we are from the Khawarij. And they will also not tell you that originally they hated Azza Ali. They won't tell you. They'll deny it. They'll flat out right off. But if you look at all historical, accurate historical records, it's proven that these Ibadis that live today in, in Oman and in Lebanon, their roots are from the Khawarij, the same people here that Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam spoke about, right? Anyway, we've done most of this stuff. We've done a little bit explanation, and we've done a translation. There is a little bit explanation left with regard to the hadith. We'll do that tomorrow, inshallah. One of the is here, so it's Mishkaat 2 now. First, Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, Subhanakallah.